Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, almost had my baby stolen by coworker's family. Supervisor talks self out of a job. Ex-friend expected everything off of me. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Almost had my baby stolen by coworker's family. Throwaway account. Little background: I'm 22F and I'm currently 8 months pregnant with my first child. My boyfriend is 31M. I work as a secretary on the inpatient ward of a hospital second shift. I'm writing this on my cell phone, so please excuse the grammar and spelling mistakes. I started working here when I was 19, and supporting myself through college, also great benefits. So, my coworkers are like family. Bio family sucks, but that's another post. When I was 4 months pregnant, I told my coworkers, who were happy for me, all except Patty, fake name. She didn't say anything. After a while she started being friendly with me, asking about the baby, my health, and my plans for the future. I told her that my BF and I were getting married and moving in together to be a family. Patty didn't like this for some reason and started asking me about my opinions on adoption. I said no, I'd never adopt out my child. For a few weeks Patty gave me the silent treatment. Then one night after visiting hours, a couple showed up, 40-ish M, 40-ish F. I told them that visiting hours were over and that they could see their family member tomorrow. The woman said, "Oh, we're here to see you. We're so excited to meet you and want to thank you for choosing us to give your baby to." I was dumbfounded, shocked, until the woman tried to touch my 6-month pregnant belly. I screamed so loud all of the nurses came running. The couple tried to explain to security, nurses, and me that their SAL told them that I was a young unwed mother desperately trying to give up my baby for adoption and choose them. That their SIL promised them my baby since they have been suffering from infertility for years. I told them that I had no intentions of giving up my baby and to never come near me again. I also told them that I don't even know their SIL, but they kept insisting that I did. Next night Patty comes charging up to my desk, screaming at me about how could I treat her brother and SIL like garbage after she helped me with my mistake. I called security and Patty, her brother and sister-in-law, are banned from coming near me or contacting me at work. But I'm 8 months pregnant and scared these crazy entitled people will find me when I deliver and demand my baby. My BF says it's just hormones and they can't just steal our baby, but I'm terrified. Did Patty get fired? Because there's no way a person like that should be working at a hospital. I understand that you're scared, anyone would be. Talk to your doctor and make sure that all of your information will be password protected. All of the nurses working with you should know everything is password protected as well. This isn't an uncommon request, so they should be able to accommodate you. If you're still not comfortable, have your baby at a completely different hospital. What matters the most right now is how you feel, your safety, and the safety of your baby. Also talk to your supervisor and HR to see if there is a plan in place to keep Patty from knowing when you take your maternity leave. Hell, call a lawyer and ask if you can get at least a temporary restraining order, if not a permanent one. They usually do free consultations. I'm not sure if that is enough for a restraining order/keep-away order, mainly against Patty, since I'm not sure if the couple really knew what they were dragged into. If you can prove that they did, then add them too, but maybe you could request a TRO until you deliver just for some peace of mind. This is beyond crazy, and I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'm glad that the other nurses are on your side, so hopefully they'll watch out for you against that psycho. Sounds like Patty had this plan in mind as soon as she saw OP was pregnant. Wanted the attention of being so gracious to get her brother and SIL a baby. I hope she got fired, and I hope she doesn't do this to other young mothers. Why can't brother and SIL go to a normal adoption agency? I would take this to HR. What the F is wrong with your coworker? Also, when you go into labor, be sure and tell hospital staff about this so they can keep your baby safe. I would take it to the police. Patty committed a crime, it's called child trafficking, and it's a big deal felony. Document all of the interactions you've had with this lady. She sounds terrifying. Whatever hospital you choose to give birth in, let the staff and security know that you do not want Patty or anyone associated with her near you or the baby, that she and her family admitted to wanting to take your baby, and that they lied about you wanting to give it up. Documentation and legal action. I'd file for a restraining order. Even if it is denied, there is a paper trail of their actions if anything were to happen. You need to report this incident to HR, because what your coworker did was completely out of line. She should be disciplined, or if not, you should not be forced to work similar shifts after what she did. Start the paper trail now, so that if Patty and her SAL try to claim anything in the future, you'll have emails in the report to back up your claims. Either way, in most states you have the legal right to refuse to give your child away up to and even after you give birth, even if you did promise verbally to give up the baby. Wow! I would be worried too. Make sure you inform everyone around you and stay vigilant. Don't hate me, but it also reminded me of that scene when Rachel is pregnant on Friends and yelled, "My boss wants to buy my baby." Supervisor talks self out of a job. Colleen was a real entitled piece of work. From avoiding work all day by being on a permanent break to claiming credit for decisions made in their absence, Call had come to the conclusion that they were indispensable. Our waste facility burned down about 3 years into my tenure there. I was miffed by this, but Call smelled opportunity in the air. It was probably more long-chain hydrocarbons TBH. During the site clear-up, I directed the sorting of drums, waste piles, liaising with the demolition crews, and generally keeping everyone safe. Due to the fire, it became clear that the workforce would require trimming down or redeploying to other areas, and Call was ecstatic. They kept telling anyone near them about how important they was to the smooth running of the site and confided in me about an awesome plan to get a pay rise out of the company. Basically, the company asked for voluntary redundancies as a starting point for those who wanted to move on, and Call decided that they would ask for it. They figured that the company would see their arse over such a heroic supervisor wanting to leave, and, when the company invariably rejected the voluntary redundancy request, Call would demand a massive pay rise to stay. As soon as Call told me, I buttered them up by congratulating them on such a fantastic idea. Long story short, Call went to HR the next morning and was escorted off-site 10 minutes later. You can lead a horse to water to watch it drown itself. Beautiful. Trash took itself out, one less job for you to oversee. Guess they aren't as indispensable as they thought. So very few are. I've personally only known maybe 3 people who were so irreplaceable they could write their own ticket and are frequently headhunted. One was one of only 2 occupational therapists in a few county-wide or rural southern state. One is an astrophysicist that pulled off some first and only stuff, and the other had been running a very specific and huge branch of a large company for many years. The first has been headhunted to several new places with massive pay increases each time. The second was given tenure off the bat, not just for themselves, but for their spouse so they'd go and teach at a very high-ranking college. The last was wooed into not retiring for many years because he was so indispensable. It almost never works to give people an ultimatum at work. It ends up being most the younger people who think they know more than they do, and think they themselves, as an individual, are more crucial than they are. I remember one person who got annoyed that she wasn't promoted who went into the VP, small company, and said essentially, "Promote me or I quit." She was not prepared for the "we will miss you, I'll prepare your final check" that she got. Almost everyone is replaceable, and even if they're not, the company will figure something out. Great story, as long as this isn't a waste recycling site, because clearly you don't want her back. Ex-friend expected everything off of me. About 2 years ago, I was in a friendship group with about 7 girls including me. I used to be a bit of a pushover and let people talk to / treat me like garbage, as I never used to have friends through school and I was afraid of being alone. Out of all of us in this group, me and only 2 others had jobs. I was working a decent paying job at the time and I was pretty generous with money. Considering that I was 19, turning 20 at the time and still living with my parents, I had loads to spare. One friend, who we will call Sandra, took advantage of that. She didn't work, relied on her baby dad's money, she was pregnant, smoked the green all day every day, and overall was just a very crappy person. Now I also smoke the green and I still do, so I'm not hating on that. Now, she always spoke to me like crap. Took her anger out on me and a few other of our friends verbally, and essentially was like her little lapdog. She could be kind when she wanted to be, and me, being desperate for friends, clung on to that. Since she was struggling with money and had no family to help out and I had a decent wage each month, she always wanted to borrow money off of me. When Sandra said borrow, it really meant, can I have your money for this, and I'll cry and make you feel bad when you ask for it back. So it got to a point when I just stopped asking for it, since I never really needed it anyways. Sandra couldn't afford a food shop? I got it. She couldn't afford a new fridge when hers broke? I helped her out. When her dog got sick, guess who paid the €500 vet bill? Yeah, you guessed it, me. I helped her out and was there for her when she had pretty much no one but our group without so much as a thank you sometimes. Anyway, it came to a halt when I just had enough. We were all out at a restaurant for another girl in our group's birthday. The bill was placed in front of us. The birthday girl was told by us all that we were covering her half. It was her birthday after all, and we wanted to treat her. Everyone excluding Sandra had paid, and when asked about it, she had the audacity to say that because I help her out the most, she assumed I was paying for her food as well as mine. That I know she is struggling, so it would be unfair of me not to pay. Like WTF? I laughed. When I realized Sandra wasn't joking, I was fuming. I'd had enough and told her I'm sick and tired of the sheer audacity, and how dare she think she's this entitled to the money I work for. I stood up from the table, told her that if she wants money to get a bloody job and stop sponging off her friends. I ended the friendship there and then. Before leaving, I told the others they were welcome to stay in a toxic friendship with Satan, but that wasn't me anymore. We argued. I left feeling great and free. Sandra left €53 down and friendless, as I wasn't the only one she wasn't nice to, and after what happened, they decided to jump ship since they couldn't be arsed with her behavior anymore either. 2 years later, we are all happier without her in our lives, and from what I heard, she is miserable. LOL karma. Sounds like she's the type to be miserable no matter who's around her or what she has. Good on you for cutting the toxic friendship off, and it's hilarious that the rest of your friend group felt the same. That is not karma, that is you having the courage to stop an abusive person from using you. That is far superior. Well done. Brava! So empowering to recognize entitlement and stand up for yourself. You go, girl. You developed boundaries that will serve you the rest of your life. Well done. Good for you. But she was never really a friend to begin with. Did she ever learn her lesson? If you have to pay to spend time with someone, make that person a therapist. At least you're getting your money's worth. I had a mooch ex-friend like this, and he was so entitled to my money, my boyfriend's money, and my family's money. I was also miserable with my mental health, so I needed a friend, but as I was discovering my self-worth, I realized this friend was completely disrespectful and I didn't deserve that. Last year, I finally cut off that friendship after 16 years, and I couldn't be happier. I don't think he will ever know how messed up he was to me. All I can say is bravo for turning this entitlement around, and that poor baby, hope it's okay. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.